Okay, well, welcome to this video here, and we're going to be I'm going to be going over a case study of FQ toxicity. And obviously, if you're listening to this video, I'm going to let you know that there is hope for you. There's some solutions for you that can actually get to the root cause of the problem and look at your case as you as a human being. Now, one of the things that I do is what we call functional medicine. So the approach I actually take is a polytherapy approach. Well, what does that mean? Is when we look at your case on what's happening, the more therapies that we can put into you, the better you're going to be. For example, if you go to the doctor and you have a thyroid problem, they have one solution. They're going to put you on 𝗪𝗪 or 𝗪𝗪𝗁. That's not the functional medicine approach. My approach is a polytherapy approach where we're going to try and do many different things. So what I'm going to walk you through here is Ruthie's case right here. So I'm going to show you her intake form. I'm going to show you her labs. I'm going to show you her treatment plan. I'm going to show you everything from A to Z. Because what I've learned, I've been in practice now for 20 years and doing functional medicine for 10, is people that have been FQ'd, there's just no solutions out there for people. There's nothing available. So functional medicine is a solution for you, and I want to walk you through a process of thinking on how we can get you better. And in my experience, people that have been FQ'd want information, want understanding. So this is Ruthie. You can look her up on YouTube here. Just YouTube this, and you're going to see her on my YouTube station. But let's kind of like get into her case. Now, one thing with Ruthie is was suffering from this for many, many years, and she wants to help people. She's given me permission to show her video and her labs. I've crossed out her last name, but everything else is the exact paperwork that she brought into us. So she came into my office August 2008 here. She came in 2008, and I have a lot of notes. Here's her fatigue, chronic pain, muscle weakness, and I just want to go down here. So she contributes this to taking FQs here in basically in 2006, but she didn't realize this in 2017. Her life was basically devastated. She's been suffering this for 12 years. She tried a lot of different things. She's taken turmeric. I'll show you. Before she came to me, she was literally taking like 160 pills per day, supplements, pills per day, just trying to get better. So you can look through this. I don't want to go through all the details of this, but I've taken notes on her. At this point, she's frustrated. She had to quit working, which I'm sure a lot of people here. She doesn't have any hobbies because she doesn't have any energy, and her life is pretty much exhaustion, and she's very frustrated. She feels 70 plus. It basically affects everything in her entire body. She's afraid that this is going to turn into Alzheimer's disease because she already has brain fog. She has tremors. She has a lot of neurological diseases. She had her gallbladder removed. This is what she's looking to get out of the program here, my functional medicine program. These are some of the barriers that she has. And this is a really key thing because a lot of people get really discouraged. And she writes this: "I will win over this. I've made it this far, mostly on my way." So prior to coming into my practice, she's gone to see a couple different practitioners, but no one actually did all the testing and everything that was needed to get her better. So this is some paperwork I had her fill out. Again, Ruthie. And really what I want you to pay attention to, this is August 4th right here. Now you can see this goes over the different organ areas that can be affected, your colon, intestinal integrity. And you can see all the threes, all the numbers right in here. Okay, so you can see a lot of these numbers. Now, what I want to bring your attention to down here is November. So literally, we have October, September, October. We roughly have about 3 to 4 months here. We had to retake this metabolic form out here. The same thing, we had to redo it. Now look at the change in this. Now on the numbers here, when she first came in, her numbers, if you had all these numbers up from the first one here, right, from the first one here is 204. Then after our program, after the functional medicine program, we got her down to 56. So this is amazing changes that can happen once you work with the laws of Mother Nature. God put the most amazing healing power into your body. We need to figure out what's going on and why it's not working correctly. Here's another one that we take of Ruthie. This is the brain. We're checking the different areas of the brain here. You can see she's got lots of 4s. Depression, mental fog, decreased attention span, difficult staying focused. I mean, this is very, very common with people that have been FQ'd. I see it all the time. They're depressed, they have fear, the anxiety, they have brain fog, brain fatigue, all these brain problems that are starting to happen. It was really affecting basically her whole entire brain. That's one thing I like about this brain form here. Look at this, less memory, less efficient, impacts daily lives. I mean, she would go out in the parking lot, didn't know where she parked. I mean, she would go in the room and didn't know why she was in the room. She would actually try and think of some words and didn't know what to say. All this was happening because she's been FQ'd and the body's just not working properly. So here we have so here she had, on the first take, she had, her total score was 264. Now check this out. This is Ruthie November. Look at all this. It's practically normal here. Now she's at 43, so she went from 264 to 43. These are dramatic changes when you work with the laws of Mother Nature, when you work with functional medicine. Now, I'm going to have this, you can come back and you can look at this. I'm going to try and have this as a PDF form so you can scroll through this if you want to, if it's available on your particular form of media that you're getting this information. So this is the blood work that I do. I do blood work. I take anywhere from 11 to 14 vials of blood. I do food sensitivity, and then I do hormonal panel testing. I found it out clinically over the last 20 years. That's the most efficient test to get, and you can literally spend $100,000 in functional medicine tests. So I try and do the test that I feel that I get the most value from at the cost. So here, what you're going to see, this is Quest Diagnostics. If you're in another part of the world, like you're not in the United States, then we can figure something out on how to get some kind of labs, or if you have some labs, you can always get the food sensitivity testing, and you can always get the saliva test, and we can mail those anywhere in the world. So how you want to kind of read this is, this would be the outer range, and this is the reference range. So anything in blue would tell you that those markers are not within range. Now you can see here, what I want to bring your attention to is she really doesn't have a lot of out of range markers on the original blood work form. Now what I do is, then we put this in a functional medicine report, and I'll be going over this in a second, and then I'll show you how we extrapolate all the details out of this blood work where the conventional system has failed. Now this right here, these are some bad signs right here, and I'll be going over this in a little bit here scrolling down. So this insulin, this is a hormone. This is very, very bad. We want this to be less than 5 or around 5 functionally. She's at 21. B12, high B12, that tells you that you're not absorbing B vitamins. So why aren't you absorbing B vitamins? There's a lot of different things why you may not be absorbing B vitamins. B vitamins are critical for mitochondria function. If you've done any studying on FQ'd or being FQ'd, you know it absolutely destroys your mitochondria. And I'll be doing more of a video on what happens with the mitochondria and how FQ'd, if you've been FQ'd, destroys the mitochondria. So insulin is a hormone. This is an inflammatory hormone. You want to decrease any kind of inflammation in your body. If you've been FQ'd, you need to decrease your body's inflammation, period, and restore your cell membranes. Okay, so then what we do is we get this raw data. I call this the raw data. We get this raw data, then we put it into this report, what we call the functional health report. Now, what the functional health report does is you're able to extrapolate all the details out of the blood work. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, so let's take this down here. This is on the report. This is the blood work. And you're going to see here, you're going to see yellow, you're going to see red, and you're going to see hot pink. So anything that's in clear would tell you that's where normal, healthy human beings should be when it comes to their blood work, is anything in clear. Anything that's in yellow here, I'm going to use an analogy. You're like a piano. Your body's like a piano. let's see how a piano has 83 strings. If you have a piano and you have, let's say, 20 strings that are out of sync, and then you have 3 strings that are broken, that piano is not going to sound very healthy. So what the yellow marker is that's a marker in your blood work that tells you that's a string that's out of sync. Now, in the conventional system, you go to the doctor, they're going to tell you that is completely normal because the conventional system works on black and white. You either have diabetes or you don't. You either have high blood sugar or you don't. You either have high blood pressure or you don't. You either have high cholesterol or you don't. You either have a hypothyroid problem or you do not. It's black and white. In the functional medicine model, that's not how it's working. We're looking at you as a human being, finding out all the markers that aren't optimal, which is all the yellow here are not optimal, and figure out what's happening with these markers and how can we get your body optimized, because once you get your body optimized, your body has an ability to heal itself. God created the most amazing healing power in your body. We need to figure out why that healing power is not healing your body. Once we do, you're going to start to heal on your own. That's what functional medicine is all about. So I'm not going to go into all the minutia about all these different labs and what they mean, but just take a look at how many yellows there are. Now look at this page here. Almost every marker was yellow or red, and then this hot pink here, this hot pink means that it's extremely high. So right here, you can look at this and you can look at this and say, wow, well, there's a lot of yellows and there's a lot of reds and there's a lot of hot pinks. Something's not functioning normally here. Now let's just go up to the blood work. This is a standard conventional blood work that, these are the standard labs. What came out high? Okay, so anything that's in this blue came back abnormal. And you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 markers came back high, right? But now what happens is when you actually stick it in a functional medicine report and you're looking at how you're functioning and healing, you can see all these things here. There's a lot more information that we can pull out and extrapolate from your case. Now, another thing that I like is you can see insulin here. It tells you what's happening. You have insulin resistance. Anytime you have insulin resistance, your body's in a state of chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation will cause your brain to be inflamed. Your brain doesn't have pain receptors on it. So what happens if you have an inflamed brain? You get depressed, you get irritated, you get anxious, you can't sleep. All these things are happening with your brain. And again, I don't want to go over all the minutia on this, but here you need B12 to synthesize DNA. If you've done any studies on mitochondria, there's DNA in mitochondria, right? If you affect your mitochondria, you affect the DNA. The DNA is the powerhouse of your cell. Nothing works unless your mitochondria is working. So if you have muscle pain, that's affected your mitochondria in your muscles. If you have like central nervous system stuff like anxiety, brain fog, brain fatigue, you can't think, then being FQ'd affected your brain tissue. And I personally believe my personal clinical experience is that the FQs are highly absorbable from your gut, and I think they really love fatty tissue. They really love brain tissue because I think that's a fatty area, and the drugs can just penetrate right into your cells and start killing your mitochondria and affecting your brain. So HSCRP, this is an inflammatory marker. It's elevated. Homocysteine, again, is elevated. This has to do with your DNA production. It has to do with B6, B12, inflammatory bowel. You're not absorbing nutrients. Again, RDW, B12. So if you're deficient in B12, you can just extrapolate. You're deficient in magnesium and selenium and zinc and copper and possibly iron, right? So why do you have these deficiencies? Now, if you have these deficiencies, your body's more susceptible to damage when you get FQ'd, right? So your body's just weak at that particular time. MCV associated with B12, folate, vitamin C deficiency, zinc deficiency, the alkaline phosphatase. So you can just see here, like we're getting like clinical data that we can use, just not saying, oh, your labs came back normal. That's not the case. So that's the first test we do. That's about 11 to 12, 13, 14 vials of blood. Okay. If you want to look at this further, you can certainly look at this further. Next thing we do is what we do, a food sensitivity testing. So we're checking, this is a blood test. We can mail this test anywhere in the world. So this is a blood test that you prick your finger and we take 12 spots of blood. Now you can see here this 0 to 1, this is the foods that you want to eat. Anything above 2 or higher here tells you that your body is sensitive to it. Well, what does that mean? That means that every time you eat this food, you become inflamed. Every time that you become inflamed, that causes chronic inflammation in your body. So the more inflammation you are, the more problems that are going to occur, the more susceptible you're going to be to being FQ'd if you've taken those medications. So you can see here, if this person is eating, well, this is Ruthie, right? All these are Ruthie's labs. Everything is Ruthie. You're going to see here, Ruthie is, I don't know if her age is on here. It's not. Okay, I marked it out, but she's 55. Okay, so you can see here she's sensitive to dairy. She's sensitive to egg whites, chicken, and egg yolks, right? And at the time she was gluten-free, so you know the wheat didn't come up. But if she was eating gluten, I guarantee you this would come up. Now this is also indicative of leaky gut. So if you don't know what leaky gut is, you should look at my YouTube station and YouTube. You know, my YouTube station is 𝗥𝗂𝗁𝗏, 𝗥𝗂𝗁𝗏. Go in there and look for like leaky gut videos. I have a whole protocol or whole videos on leaky gut. So right now her gut's leaking. Guess what? If your gut's leaking, your brain is leaking. They go hand to hand. You cannot have a gut that's not leaking and consequently have a brain that's not leaking. So if your gut's leaking, your brain's leaking. If your brain's leaking, your gut's leaking. So how would you know that? Well, if you have any digestive problems, constipation, diarrhea, bloating, gas, if you change between constipation and diarrhea, those are all indications that your digestive system is not well and that you have a leaky gut. If you have a leaky gut, you have a leaky brain. So when you go and take these antibiotics, and if you already have a problem, these medications get directly in your brain and start affecting your brain tissue. Here's another check that we do here. This is a hormonal test. This is a test that we can mail anywhere in the world. This is a saliva test we check this morning, noon, evening, and at night. This is the cortisol levels. So we want to see your cortisol in this black area right here. So this is where we want to see. This is where we want to see your cortisol levels is in this green area right here. And you can see this dot here, 1, boom, boom, boom. This is where Ruthie is right there. So when we look at this, she's in phase 3 adrenal exhaustion or adrenal fatigue. Now here's her numbers. Here's Ruthie's morning cortisol is 6. This is the optimal range. This would be like the medical range. We want numbers in here. Look at 6, she's at 18. Her adrenal glands are completely shot. She doesn't have any adrenal glands. Then she has this hormone here, which is called DHEA, is 82. Minimum, we want this at 100. I like to see this at 250. So hormones, the DHEA is very, very critical. DHEA makes testosterone, it makes progesterone, it makes estrogen, it makes all these hormones. DHEA is very, very critical for cell health. It's very, very critical for brain health as well. DHEA is the most abundant hormone in your body. So we need to make sure that you have optimal hormones because that supports your brain. Then here we also checked her hormones, right? So you can see here progesterone is 12. Now you can take bioidentical hormones, God-given hormones. This should be between 5 and 3,000 supplementing. So why would you want to supplement? Because if you've been FQ'd, you need to support all avenues of your body to support your body and give your body the support it needs to overcome being FQ'd. Look at testosterone here is 9, right? We like to see this between 30 and 60. Now here's the thing with the hormones here is the DHEA. The DHEA here makes testosterone, it makes progesterone, it makes estradiol. So by supporting DHEA, guess what? You get the benefit of these all being supported. That's why taking DHEA is so critical, and it's very easy to take. You want to take something that's under the tongue. So here you can see just more symptom charts here. Okay, so this is Ruthie. She came to me. These are, let me clarify, some of her supplements. So she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and she left some supplements at home. Now, she was taking this every single day. Some of these she was taking 3 or 4 times a day. She was literally taking over 160 capsules, supplements per day. Before she came into me, I said, Ruthie, I said, I've never seen someone take so many supplements. And what does this tell me? Is that she's out there looking for answers. She's looking for help. So the first thing I said immediately is, Ruthie, let's cut these supplements in half. Boom. I mean, your body receptors can only handle so many supplements before they just become, the receptors just become overtaxed, and they won't actually respond to that. So the very first thing we did is I had okay, so this is Ruthie's exact treatment plan right here. So let's dive into this and we'll go over exactly what we did to get her better. So the first thing I had to do is eliminate dairy, okay, because she was sensitive to dairy. She was already gluten-free. I had her go to this website, Gather Table. You put in what you're sensitive to. I'm sensitive to dairy and sensitive to eggs, and then it will show you the recipes that you need it will show you the recipes that you need to buy, like the foods that you need to buy based on your food sensitivity testing. I sent her a video on what I call the HCL challenge, just to make sure that she has enough hydrochloric acid in her stomach. This is a very, very, very critical part of any functional medicine program, is doing the HCL challenge. It's a must, must, must for people to do the HCL challenge. So this is all on video. If you're outside of the country, you're not local, everything I have is on video, so you can actually get the information that you need. So this is what I did. I put her on 𝗥𝘂𝗁. What is 𝗥𝘂𝗁? 𝗥𝘂𝗁 helps digest fats. Because the program I looked at, I'm like, what's Ruthie missing? She's missing a high-fat phospholipid therapy diet to restore cell membrane, to restore mitochondria, because that is what got damaged in Ruthie's case, and she wasn't supporting any of that stuff. But I only came up with that conclusion after I did the correct testing. The testing's like the fishing net. The bigger your fishing net is, the more, then when you reel it in, you're going to catch more fish. This is the same thing that happens in people that have been FQ'd. So I start out with 𝗥𝘂𝗁. This is exactly what I put her on. I put her on the supplement called Body Bio PC, a phosphatidylcholine. It's the major source of your cell membranes. You literally have 100 trillion cells, and each cell is made out of fat, phosphatidylcholine. The mitochondria, the cell, the outer layer and the inner layer of the mitochondria is made out of fat, phosphatidylcholine. And then I put her on phosphatidylserine, which is a different fat. I put her on high-dose fish oil, 8 milligrams of fish oil. I put her on DHA, which is a very specific supplement. It comes from fish, but this is very specific. The DHA part of the fish oil goes to the brain. This is the stuff, the fat that likes to penetrate into the brain. I put her on brain octane, and then I did some supplements. I did DHEA based on saliva test, and this is, that's the dose. I said, cut your supplements in half. Boom. Okay? We need to get you off supplements. She came in. What's the date on this? 8/29. This is 2 weeks later. All right? 2 weeks later, she says, doing much better, more energy, easier to wake up in the morning, more focused. She can work at the computer, brain clear, don't have pressure in the brain. Brain felt like someone was stepping on her head. Stress not affecting her as much. Skin feels better. Getting her skin, she felt like her skin was getting less wrinkles, much more calmer. Much more calm. What did we do? We supported her phospholipid membranes. We supported her central nervous system. We supported the neurons and their calm. We calmed down her whole nervous system. Getting started, but much less. Can speak better and doesn't have to look for words. Husband very happy. No pain after sex. Still having some vaginal dryness. She's doing 3 HCl capsules with meal. With meals, I kind of go over that protocol up above. The body bio, this is her dose. I did some stuff for her brain exercises because she was tolerant. She had an intolerance to smells, so I did this what we call the smell challenge here. We started some brain neurology stuff. We'll continue to cut down on supplements, and then she wants to try some bioidentical hormones. She's feeling more like a woman. 10-18, better focus, better memory, more energy. Some days she feels a little blah, pain level better, still having more sex, more moisture down in her vaginal area. She still wants, these are some things she still wants to improve on. She's doing water aerobics, she's walking, her hips don't hurt, she's losing weight. She still wants to focus on getting better brain. No more shock. She would get just electric pain. No more tremors. Has been cutting down on the supplements that she started with. She wants to recheck some insulin things. And then 11, November 21st, 90% better, more sex, getting the body PC on her own. Tremors gone. Her supplements are way down. She felt that she said, you know what, I feel like I'm a month behind. She felt like she was living in the past by a month. Now she actually feels like she's in present time. She's like here. She's here in present time. Less anxiety, and she can control her anxiety. And then she told me a story that you know, she was out. This is before she came to see me. She was out and she was going to go to Five Guys, which is just a hamburger place. And she got to the restaurant and she didn't actually remember why she was there in front of Five Guys. She didn't know why she was there or what she was supposed to order. So she called her kids because she was very extremely upset, and her kids kind of walked her off the bridge, kind of, so to speak. But that's a functional medicine workup. Now, what does your particular program look like? I don't know what your particular program looks like. That's what all the paperwork for. If you have access to the labs, that's what the labs are for. I do know this though. With functional medicine, with my approach, we're working with the laws of Mother Nature and figuring out why your body's not working correctly, and then we're addressing why your body's not working right to have your body function and heal much, much better. And the truth of the matter is, there is really no resources for people to get better that have been FQ'd out there. It's just not available. I don't know if that's being suppressed by the drug company or what's happening, but I'm here to tell you we have answers. We have sources for you to get better. Take care.